Let's talk about the cerebrum, the thinking part of the brain. The cerebrum is only about an inch thick. If you think of the brain as a mushroom, the cerebrum is the cap. The cerebrum is divided into four sections: the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the occipital lobe, and over here, and on the other side you can see it a little better, the temporal lobe. We're going to go through each of these sections, each of these lobes, and talk about their specific characteristics and the parts of your life that they control. The frontal lobe is the home of your personality. It has a wider range of jobs than any other part of the brain. It controls our ability to make decisions, concentrate, plan, and organize. It gives you your sense of self. It gives you your ability to solve problems. Creativity lies in the frontal lobe, or it starts in the frontal lobe. It lies without your brain. The largest of the brain lobes, the frontal lobe, extends from the front of the brain to the central sulcus. Here is the central sulcus right behind this green section. Each hemisphere has a frontal lobe. The left and right central both have bilateral frontal lobes. The frontal lobe is further divided into four major areas. The prefrontal cortex, Broca's area, the premotor cortex, and the primary motor cortex. We're going to be talking about each of these in turn. The prefrontal cortex is responsible for reasoning. It draws knowledge about an event from memory, then compares past and present experiences to predict what might happen. It weighs ideas and perceptions to help decision making. It also helps you switch gears, derailing your thoughts from one task before you start another. This also gives you your self-awareness and recognizing emotions and experiencing pleasure in yourself and other people. It helps to control how fast or slow time passes in the conscious mind. It acts as an emotional and moral compass, calling up instinctive feelings about what's right and wrong. Feelings of anxiety and frustration is processed here. Being able to read another person's emotions starts in the frontal lobe, ends in the parietal lobe. Some say the prefrontal cortex here is what makes us human and sets us apart from the other animals. Damage to the prefrontal cortex can be quite serious because damage to this area might cause a person's personality to change. Also, their problem-solving skills and their ability to delay anger might be affected. We're going to be talking about concussions a little bit later on, and we'll bring back the information about the prefrontal cortex then. The primary motor cortex controls voluntary muscle movement, tells the muscles how to work. It controls the direction of movement and the amount of force that muscles apply. This part of the brain contains a complete map of the body muscles. The muscles for tasks that require fine motor control, for example, moving fingers and face muscles, occupy more space on this body map than the gross motor skills. Next to the primary motor cortex is the premotor cortex. This contains your muscle memory and helps you plan your movements. This region speeds your reaction to a learned response. For example, when learning to drive, the second time a traffic signal turns green, you react a little faster. Your body knows what to do based on memories of earlier experiences. The premotor cortex retrieves this memory and fires up those same muscles. And finally, Broca's area, the language center, my favorite part of the brain. Broca's area is believed to be the brain's language center. It is part of a wider network of interconnected areas that contribute to language. It is found usually on the left frontal hemisphere. Broca's area controls language output. For example, the planning of motor muscle movements in the lips and tongue that are needed for speech. It helps you to understand the meaning of words and sentences, the syntax of words. Before you speak, it plans how to pronounce words, and it relays this message to the motor cortex, controlling the muscles that you use in speech.